I got to go live so I can tweet out the link.
Boy, I just deadlifted. I'm feeling flexy. And shoulder press, boy. Let's meet contestant number 1.
Shut up.
He's a psychopathic schizo freak.
Link is sent out. Are you about ready, or are you going to be chewing into the mic?
I'm done. That was my last bit of apple for now.
All right. And 3, and 2, and 1. Hello and welcome, disc golfers, to the Hitting the Line podcast. I am your host, Jad, and as per usual, I am joined with my brother, Nas Dog. Nas, how's it going?
It's going good, Jad. How are you doing?
You're eating your mic for one, but
You're
two,
eating your mic.
No, I'm not. Anyways, it's going good. We got caught a little off. We got caught off guard a little bit by.
I can't hear you. Will you eat your mic a little bit more, please?
Well, yeah, I said we got caught a little off guard by Prize Picks this week posting a Silver Series event. They did say they were going to be at, when I was emailing representative from there, they did say they were going to be on top of it this year. We heard some of that last year, and then nothing ended up coming of these kinds of things. And even this year, they were off to a slow start with some things that they had promised, but it looks like they are up for a Silver Series. So we are up for a podcast, and
we are always down.
Yeah. So, I mean, we like to talk these lines regardless. We like to talk about tournaments going on, all things disc golf related regardless. So we're here.
We are. Let's quickly I don't know, where do you want to start? You want to start off looking at how we did last week, or do we
well no let's
this course first.
Let's start about this course. So we are at the Open at Belton. Is that Belton? It's not called Belton, Texas, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're in Belton, Texas for our Texas swing of the tour. Of course, this is not a part of the DGPT, but they stopped there before. Texas State Championships is probably next week, is my guess, or maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Texas States is the next part of the Texas swing. This one is being part of the Silver Series. I believe is worth a quarter of the normal points, but we got a pretty stacked field this year in comparison to last. So it's pretty exciting to see how our competitors do.
Yeah, and the course, it's pretty nice. They've made at least a handful of changes. We know that. Some of them dramatic, some of them not so much. Some of them just changing in pars. So let's just jump into it. Last week, we were coming off of Waco. Obviously, big shout out to our winners, Valerie Mandijano and Paul. I did pick Paul. I just want to say that I picked Paul last week to win it all on our
Is that what I said to? Yeah, I think I had said Paul, and
I just said put a gun to my head. I have to choose Paul. There's no reason.
Of course,
not
to. He's crushed this tournament a lot of times. We had Paul McBethan first, kind of a surprise, but maybe not really after his finish in Vegas with Luke Humphreys in second. Chris Clemens ended up finishing third, tied with Joel Freeman. Also tied with
Chris Clemens swooped in third.
Yeah, he tied with Joel Freeman, Thomas Gilbert, Aaron Gossage, Kayla Viska, and Isaac Robinson in fifth. Chris Dickerson also there in fifth. And then Alex Russell and Nico LaCastro round out the top 10 there. So shout out to all those players who finished in the top 10, especially Nico. And then we had, Ricky Wysocki and Conrad tied for 12th. Mason Ford and Kyle Klein at 15 and 16. And another notable in there, Calvin, also at 16th. Kevin Jones in 21st place. Some notable scores that were not very good. Paul Ulibarri finished 102nd. So I want to shout out Yuli after I told the whole world to pick him on the under. He went out and shot like a 13 over. So my bad, guys. We can't.
It was like a 920 rated round or something really bad.
It was like 940 or 930. Like basically what you or I would have shot out there.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Oh, kind of surprising, maybe not depending on who you ask, but Brody in 83rd tied with Ezra. Kind of surprised to see those guys shooting over But yeah, Adam Hammis 77th place. So some guys that didn't shoot maybe as well as they would have liked, but Waco is a tough course. They call that course the beast for a reason. It is difficult, especially in those conditions that we saw in round one, which we maybe didn't take into account while placing our entries. So yeah.
Yeah,
FPO side.
and
Hey, let's quickly look at
so that was an MPO shout out.
yeah.
FPO, you have the results right in front of you. It sounds like.
Yeah, we had Valerie, of course, with that was it hole 17, that beautiful upshot on 17 where she parked
with
it.
a getaway, right?
Yeah, that was like to me one of the shots of the tournament. Valerie, Kristen Tatar in second place, Katrina Allen with a blazing hot third round to jump back up into
I
third
can't get
place.
enough of that third round. I've been buzzing on it all week.
Yeah, she I think was in like 16th or 17th place and then hopped up to third with her round. She started off like, I mean, she even took a double bogey and almost shot a course record. If she pars with just single bogeys, yeah. So if she doesn't take a double bogey there, she has it. So Kat Merch with a solid fourth place finish too.
If I was going to say, if Katrina replaces that double bogey with a birdie, that's almost a 30-point swing in terms. I mean, assuming that each stroke is almost 10 points, that's almost a 30-point swing, and that gives her literally one of the top FPO rounds of all time.
Yeah.
Without that one hole, that was a legit top FPO round of all time. And I was just,
she was banging putts
Jamie,
from circle
AKA
one.
My girlfriend was screaming at me every time. She wasn't screaming at me, but she was like, "Be quiet!" Every time Kat nailed a monster jump putt, I was
40
like,
putt,
"Let's go!"
50-foot putt. Yeah,
dude,
Kat is really
it felt like a simulation where she steps up to the putt and you're like, she's not gonna do this again. And you're watching it live, so you're like,
yeah,
she couldn't possibly do it again. And then it's like, ching, like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, it was exciting stuff to watch, man. And I think that just kind of drives home the point. Live disc golf is so much better. And I know not everybody can sit at home and watch 4 hours plus of each of these, but if you have a morning, like I wake up and in the morning the ladies are playing already. I love to sit down and watch in the morning as I may be stretching, cleaning the house a little bit, whatever I'm doing. Live disc golf is just better. And I watch so much less.
And the thing is, you also can't find Kat's round anywhere. You only got to witness it if you were watching live because she wasn't on one of the top cards.
Right, so, exactly.
There it is. It seems like every week in and week out, there's a reason why you should watch live disc golf.
Yeah, and then in fourth place, we had Owen Scoggins and Kat Merch. Kat Merch played really well. It was cool to see her compete. Henna and Macy Veladiaz and Paige Pierce all tied for sixth. Evelina, ninth. Maria Oliva in 10th, also with Holly Finley in 10th. So that kind of rounds out
Maria
the top
and
10
Kat
of our ladies.
Are on the come up this year.
They are, man. And I really, really enjoyed watching Owen do well on a course like this where maybe distance isn't as big of a deal. She can go in there, hit a few lines, bang some putts, and come out with a top four finish. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
I put the tweet up today. It's got a handful of votes. Just something I like about Kat Merch is she has a really good ability to score. She still isn't as experienced as a lot of the other ladies, so you see a lot of those blow up holes or you see a lot of bogeys, but you also see a lot of birdies on her card. If she can pull it together and turn those bogeys into pars, then I think she's going to have a heck of a season. And it's nice seeing Maria Oliva also have a good finish.
Yeah, she obviously has game, so it's cool to see her doing well and maybe getting some early success this season.
So before we talk about how Waco related to our prize picks last week, Nas, will you give a quick shout out to our sponsors that allow this all to happen?
Yeah, of course. We've got some really supportive sponsors. Of course, Prize Picks. Head over to prizepicks.com, and when you make your initial deposit to start playing, if you use the promo code HTL, as in hitting the line, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. And that is real money that you can use right then and there to make your entries for the week, for the season, however you are betting. Our other sponsors that I want to shout out, as you can see on my hat here, is Till Death Disc Club. They are a disc golf brand focused on providing stylish gear for on and off the course. They represent the appreciation and love that all disc golfers have for our sport. Disc Golf for Life, Till Death. Check them out on Twitter or Instagram. Yeah, the promo code for them is HTL Pod. So HTLPOD, and you can get yourself a nice little discount, 15% off all their products. So they've got some sick hats, some sick sweaters, tie-dye, dad hats, flat brims like this, some really fly gear. And then, of course, our other sponsor is Dark Ace Apparel. Dark Ace is based out of St. Louis, Missouri, and they kind of take two worlds that I personally love. So that's why this sponsor means a lot to me: disc golf and heavy metal music. And they merge those two worlds in a way that resonates with people like myself or George, who is the owner of this company. So if you like
or
to
Nathan
headbang
Queen,
as much,
or Greg Barsby.
That's true. Some of our favorite disc golfers also listen to metal. So if you like to chain bang as much as you like to head bang, check out Dark Ace Apparel. They've got some new windbreakers dropping in, I believe, a few days that are pretty fly.
Is there a promo code for that one as well?
There is a promo code there. It's just HTL. Use the promo code when you shop there. They've got discs. They've got dry fits. They've got hoodies. They've got hats, and it all looks sick. So make sure you check them out. So yeah, shout out to our sponsors. We appreciate you guys a lot. And please, if you are listening, check them out. Use our promo code. Let them know you're listening. That's all I got to say about that.
So yeah, as I quickly mentioned to you right before we started, in terms of our prize picks selections, I went broke last week. We were talking about the
say it again.
challenge.
Say it loud.
I went broke last week. Do you know? Can you guys tell who the DGen out of the two of us is?
So, me, responsible with my money, a homeowner, an investor.
So how much do you got? How much you got left?
I got 80 left out of the original 100. Last week,
so.
Last week I was at 119. I probably overly invested in day one, which had all that wind. I did not take into account when I made my entries. Lost a little bit there, and it seems like everybody I took under went over and vice versa. It was just opposite. So I still have $80. You went broke. Tell us more about that and what happened.
I'll tell you how it happened. So yeah, I mean, we seemingly downplayed the weather a little bit going into round one. However, we right away realized it, and we were tweeting out, our change of heart, and the wind is starting to pick up, and it looks like there will be rain for when a lot of the main guys were playing. So I start putting in my hedge bets in, and well, for one, the two people who I was exposed to the most, Paul Macbeth, I'm over smashing the over because he was projected to do the best. Of course, he was the one person who went under. So almost all my picks had Paul Macbeth. And then my lock for under was Katrina Allen, who, we've seen what she did the last round, but apparently the first round was not even close. So combine all of my unders having Katrina Allen and all my overs having Paul Macbeth. None of the hedges went through. I did have one chance left. So I had, I think, about $60 left going into round two. And man, I either could have went really nuclear or went broke. So I put it in two lineups, and it was the ones that I tweeted out where I said, listen, you got to have this Gannon Burr prop bet on 17 under. And he did it in round one with the ridiculous weather. It sets up perfect for the double forehand. We know he's a freak at putting. You need to make this selection. So all of my picks work, and it's a power play, and it's riding on Gannon Burr. Gannon Burr misses his circle one putt for me to go broke. I had actually pushed on James Conrad and Kristen Tatar. They both pushed for me, so I got my money back, redid it again, and I had 3 bets, and it ended up not happening for me, all because of Gannon Burr's circle one putt. Otherwise, I would be up money.
Dude, what does he got to be, an 85% circle one putter?
And he misses roughly the circle one for me. Yeah, so it was brutal. Round two, for whatever reason, he was struggling with putting. So I don't know what was up with that round, but anyways,
man, you got dealt pocket aces and got busted, bro.
And I got busted. So we're going into our third time now. I'm not gonna reload because they gave my DGen ass an $11 credit.
$11.
I'll get into my 5-pick flex in a second.
$11 5-pick flex. This is the come up.
Yeah, and
document it now.
And if I get all 5, it's an 11x. I'll be at pretty much even. So
all right. So this is the bet of your life coming up here.
I know. So let's talk about it. What are we expecting at the Open at Belton?
Well, let's talk about it. What are we expecting? Well, I think that this course, first of all, I got to say, I do love this course. I think it's scenic. I think it's kind of a good mixture of open and woods. It looks like the first day is going to be a little bit windy, but then that wind should die down a little bit in round 2. I think round 2, per usual, is when we can see our hottest scores. I'm thinking we'll see probably at least 1 to 3 players break 50. I mean, last year in round 2, we had Calvin shoot a 47, which is unreal, like 16 down. I think par was 63 last year. Yeah, he shot a 47. I think that was the hottest round of the tournament. Ricky Wysocki shot a 47 the final round last year, a 1096 rated round the final day. Ricky never shot worse than a 50 last year. So you got to like Ricky's chances going into this. Paul McBeth also never shot worse than a 50. Last year, Rick outdueled Paul in that final round to win by 2 strokes. Calvin shot really well at this course, minus his first round was only 1,000 rated, 58, but then that 47 and a 54 to finish in third. Nathan Queen had a great finish here last year with nothing worse than a 54. So I think we're going to see probably, like I said, 2 to 3 maybe players that can shoot below 50. I think a lot of folks are going to be kind of sitting around that 56 will be what most people will hope to shoot.
Yeah, I can agree
or
with that.
what we can expect players to shoot. And then on the ladies' side, last year, the only 2 competitors on the ladies' side shot under. That was Katrina Allen and Heather Young at 6 under and 5 under, respectively. And then everybody else was over. There was a huge gap. The next closest competitor was Missy Gannon with 2 over. So I think we're going to see a lot of probably overs in general if you're choosing some of our lady competitors, except for maybe Katrina and whoever you think is going to have the hot hand. So, yeah, this course I think shapes up this year to probably be a little bit harder than last year. We know there are some changes, and I think you know a little bit more about the changes than I do. Do you want to fill us in on how the course is different?
Yeah, I didn't take exact note of the holes before I went to work, but some of the holes, the pin might have moved back 20 feet and a little bit more obstructed. They might have made out of bounds a little bit more tight on some holes, but then there was some holes that it looked like the pin was even a little bit closer. In general, I think we're going to expect it to play maybe a stroke and a half tougher. Round 1 as well, to note, we are expecting 20 plus mile an hour winds all day, so that's to be affected. So I would say if you're looking at scores from last year, then you're probably going to want to add a stroke and a half or 2 to what you think they might be shooting. But in a lot of the holes, the pars kind of just changed. So even though the par has changed, we're still expecting the strokes not to change by much. And if so, like I said, maybe a stroke and a half or 2 at the most. So yeah, you had mentioned that you think most players will be around a 56. I can agree with that. I mean, we're looking at maybe a 1035 is what we think a 1050 was what we think a 56 will be, whereas last year's a 1023. And so on and so forth. In relation to prize picks, again, I would lean overs as you had mentioned, but I do think there are a handful of unders out there.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the board.
Let's take a look at the board.
Just to go into it, for example, I said I had a 5-pick flex 11x. The only way you can do an 11x is if you have a mixed entry of overs and unders. So I do. I have Paul McBeth going over 51. So hoping he can at least push for me on the 51.
Just be a human this weekend, Paul, please.
That's all I needed was Paul to be a human in round 1, and I wouldn't have made much money. No. so we'll see. Maybe I'll end up regretting it. His putter's hot, so there's no telling. But I'm hoping with this win that the guy who's projected to do the best just doesn't shoot. I mean, so what? 10 down, 51. I have a 51 projected at over a 1070. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I have Kyle Klein over 53.5. So 54 still puts him at what I think might be at about a 1050. I have Kevin Jones under 54. A 54, I'm thinking is about a 1050. But Kevin Jones has actually been playing really hot. He might have fallen off a little bit at Waco. But again, he went eagle birdie to end his Waco tournament and was the only birdie on hole 18. Yeah, he had the only eagle on hole 16. It was maybe Ezra and Kevin were the only eagles on hole 16 of the whole tournament. So I got Kevin at my under because, again, I have to mix it. I have Brody Smith under 57. We're thinking a 56 is about a 1035. I think this is a course where Brody can do fine at. I have Brody under a 57. Yeah.
Okay.
So a 57 puts him at a 56, and that's a 1035. You do not expect Brody to have 1030 golf in his game?
Oh, he's got it in his game for sure. I mean, I don't think there's a question about that. I think the question is, can he do it in the wind? And I'm just looking at last year's scores. He never shot better than a 60. His best score last year was a 59. We both agree he's a better golfer this year, but last week we also leaned on Brody a little bit and kind of got bit on the butt. So, no, I like where you're kind of thinking, but Brody did not shoot over 1,000 rated on this course last year.
Appreciate you for pointing that out. And then Nico, I have over 54.5. So that'd be 55. That's still at least a 1040 plus rated round. So that's my mixed entry for my $11 5-pick flex. It'll pay me out $118. So
let's go back up to 100.
So again, that's Paul over, Kyle Klein over, Nico over, and then Kevin Jones and Brody Smith under.
I made a 3-pick power play this morning when you told me the lines were out, just because I didn't want to miss in case some lines moved.
Right.
I went 2 overs as well. I went Garrett Gurthie and Nico over. Garrett Gurthie, it was at a 55 at that point. I don't think that line has changed. No, he's still at a 55. I went Nico LaCastro over at 54.5. And I believe
share that one with you.
Yeah, I believe that one is, he's up now to 55.
Nice.
So that line has moved. And I went Calvin under 53.5, just because I feel like he's been off a little bit these past couple weeks, and he played really well here last year. And I think this is the type of course that really suits his game. There's a lot of I agree. Some of those low ceiling, long fairway shots that he's good at. And I think if he shoots a 53, that's an 8 down. That's what I expect out of Calvin on this course, And I think to know that he can shoot a very similar round to Paul, whose number is 51, to see Calvin at a 53.5, I got to take that under, even though we don't have to take an under or an over.
So I like that. I like that.
And we've seen him play in a pouring down rain before and score well. So
I like that we're in agreement that generally lean overs, but we're also accepting the fact that there are still a lot of unders on this board available. So maybe this is the type of, something we've noticed with prize picks is that, so now that their scoring has changed, Nas, where we're allowed to pick all overs or all unders, the type of entries you make actually determines your payout. So
tell me more about this.
As Matt Winters pointed out on Twitter, he did a 5-pick flex, all overs, only paid him out 5x. So actually what's going on is prize picks is picking either whatever they're leaning on, overs or unders. So obviously they're leaning on overs and they're paying you out less for them. So I think this is a week where you can try to maximize profit because there are unders out there. So this probably is the week where if you're going to make some mixed overs and unders, this is probably the week to do it. Because we believe they're out there. So what I'm trying to say is, for example, I'm getting paid out 11x for mine if I were to hit all 5, whereas Matt Winters all overs is only getting paid out 5x.
Do you think that's going to come back to bite prize picks if another betting app decides to pick up disc golf?
I don't know if it's going to bite them because I'm sure they have so many markets that I think they'll lose the disc golfers. Yeah, it's not going to hurt them specifically, but they're going to lose the disc golfers. I think it will happen. It's just not something sustainable to put so many rules on a game that's already a losing game. As I've mentioned, just the nature of parlays is automatically a losing game. You got to be extremely sharp and you got to be on your shit.
Yeah. And like Vegas in a parlay, if you had a 5-way parlay in Vegas, you're getting paid out like huge.
Yeah, those odds are terrible, as Matt Winter says. 5-pick parlay only to pay you out 5x is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned,
might as well take my money and go play Texas Hold'em.
I think this is the week where you want to do mix in overs and unders and try to maximize those chances.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you have any locks? Do you have any people you really like? Let's talk about people who we can consider locks. I think Nico over 56.5 was a lock. Again, we mentioned it's at 57 now. So take that how you want. I really liked your Calvin Heimberg as a lock for under.
Yeah. Well, I think Garrett Gurthie too. It was Calvin was 53.5. He's still at that number, and Garrett at a 55 over. I mean, I think a 56 is still really good on this course. And for Garrett to shoot, what do we say? That's going to be probably around 1030, 1040 golf. I think that's a great round for Garrett. So I think that's a pretty good line to have him at. I'm looking at, they've got Katrina Allen at 61.5, Kristen Tatar at 62. And if I look at last year, 61 is a 983 rated round. So you might look at someone, like Kat and say 61.5. Well, last year her best round was a 54, but the other 2 rounds were over that number at a 66 and a 63. So was that 10-28 kind of a fluke of nature, or a freak? What am I trying to say here? Was that a fluke, or is that more closer to what she can shoot? If she shoots a 60, we're pretty stoked on that probably. So I think a cat over wouldn't be out of the question, especially round 1 with that wind. A cat over might be a pretty good play. Kristen Tatar was not at this tournament last year, so we don't know how she did, but I think that first round with that wind, we could see some overs in the FPO division. So that might be a good way to start a multi-play flex, is choosing some FPO overs along with any MPO overs you're feeling solid about.
Yes, sir.
How about you? Who are your locks?
Well, I think we just kind of talked some locks through together, but what do you make of Ezra's 56 line? We're thinking of 56 going to be about a 10-30. Ezra did not shoot well there last year. Is that right? If I remember looking at it.
He
or
got
did he not play
place.
there?
No, he shot
67th,
he got 67th
and
place.
That field was not that strong.
Not as strong as it is this year. Still some good players here, but he shot a 64, which was a 960 rated round. He shot a 54, which was 1028, and a 61, which is 983. So I think Ezra just didn't play to his ability, but only having 1 round over his rating at the time, that seems pretty not good. And he did finish 83rd this past week, tied with Brody. So I don't know what's going on with Ezra.
It was Waco though.
It is Waco, true. So maybe Ezra, you should be expecting him to shoot better. But last year, his hottest round was a 54 in that second round, where most hot rounds are shot. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of Ezra.
I think Ezra is similar to that Anthony Barella category, where it's you live and you die. You live and you die. You know what his ceiling is. It's even a course where I would think would play to Ezra's advantage. Like you said, like longer, low ceiling. I mean, who has a power shot like Ezra besides Calvin Heimberg? Not a lot of people. So I'm not sure what the deal is. I'm not sure if he went out of bounds a bunch. I know we added more OB this year.
Yeah. It's not going to be an easier course.
Maybe Ezra is your choice, because I could certainly see him shooting under, but last year proved to us that the over would be the quote unquote smart pick. But
does he have a putt that you trust and believe in, is my question. Because this course, I feel like a lot of the
the answer to me is no.
No, yeah, it seems like no. He just is not someone like, when I was watching some of the final round coverage from this past year where Ricky shot that hot round, he's thrown a great drive, a great upshot, and still having to make a 28 to 33 foot putt for birdie. So I think the birdies out here are going to be tough. So Ezra over, maybe a possible, really good
add
lock.
In the win to that as well.
Add in the win to that first round, and I think the overs are looking pretty good in our favor. So that's something to think about.
Cool. So let's wrap up the portion on Prize Picks. Here's how we feel about it this week. Generally, you're probably going to want to lean towards the overs. We think the course is probably going to play a stroke and a half or two tougher. It's going to be windy as well. Very windy, over 20 miles per hour the whole time. So we do know that there are unders out there. We pick some people who we think
there's got to be, right? There's always some unders.
They're always
there. It's someone.
For one, all the guys on this board are capable of hitting their under. There's just no doubt in my mind. But we definitely think they're very reasonable and plausible to hit under this time.
Definitely.
So pick those guys, how you feel, who you think's playing hot, like you said, who you think you can trust putting maybe in this wind, etc. And maybe those can be your unders. I do think this is the week where you probably want to mix in some overs and unders, so you can try to maximize the upside that Prize Picks allows you to. Because if you do pick all overs, they're not going to pay you out as much.
Right.
And that's about it for me for Prize Picks in Belton. Do you have a winner that you want to pick?
Winner?
I'm just taking Paul McBeth.
Yeah, gosh, we're back.
I have no.
2015 all over again, bro.
I know. I don't have a reason to pick against Paul McBeth.
I'm gonna say Ricky because Ricky won last year, and he has.
Ricky's got to pick up that putter, man.
He's got to pick up the pace, man. He has not played well. Although that could also be some slight overreaction.
And the thing is, I think it's a little overreaction because he is actually scoring extremely well. He's just also picking up a ton of bogeys on the way, is what's been happening this year. If you look at his results.
And that's
he's scoring like a madman. He's just hitting bogeys too. Yeah.
Usually we see him scramble out of those situations or make those putts to save par. So I think if he can get that corrected, I mean, I think this could be, looking at the scores from the last year,
Dude,
it
Ricky
came
and
down
Paul
to
blew
like
the
a
field out
Ricky
by
and
10
Paul battle.
strokes.
Yeah,
Blew the
yeah. So
field
I
out by
mean,
10 strokes.
and there's only going to be live coverage, I think, the final day. There's not going to be any coverage the first two. So we could come down to a classic Ricky Paul battle, which disc golf should be excited for if you're new to this
I
game
think
and
so
you're
too.
listening. I mean, this is what we've been watching and like looking at for years, is Ricky and Paul battling.
7 years.
And it becomes some of the best disc golf there is. So,
and they fuel each other too.
Exactly. And when they're on the same card, they both shot really well. They both shot double digit under that final round, and Rick topped him last year. So I think Rick is going to be my favorite today, or this weekend, I should say.
You got Rick, I got Paul. I just wanted to quickly mention how we were talking about how they feel each other. I was in preparing for this pod, I was obviously watching the final round last year, and I think it's like on hole 16. Rick and Paul, their disc is on top of each other. They're both probably edge of circle 1. They're both in the exact same spot, disc literally touching. They're both obstructed. Paul misses his putt off the front, and they're tied at this point. Paul misses his putt off the front of the cage. Rick, they don't even do a cut scene. Rick immediately steps up before Paul even walks away from his placement, lines it up and bangs it just because it's him and Paul. He's
what
like,
hole is this on the final round?
I believe it's 16. They're tied,
16.
and then he
I had to go back and watch it.
It could be 15, but yeah, it's at the very end. They don't even cut scenes. Paul's hardly even getting ready to walk away from his disc before Rick steps up, lines it up, and then bangs it. It's so sick.
Yeah. Well, that's what we got to look forward to. Yeah.
From the tour. Yeah. What else we got to look forward to in terms of disc golf?
I don't know. You want to tell us something about your game? Do you have any form breakthroughs or anything like that this past week?
I think my forehand is at an all-time high. I mentioned that last week, but that was just with wooded shots. I added I mentioned last week how I got rid of my PDs. I just sold them, and then I replaced them with the Dark Rebels. And Phantom Sword. Okay, sorry. I replaced them with the Phantom Sword, aka Innova's PD. And I must say, it's not necessarily a breakthrough, but the Phantom Sword is much straighter than the PD is, in my opinion. And I'm actually getting a little bit of an S curve. So I'm actually developing some distance to my forehand I've never really had before. I used to literally throw less than 300 feet, and oftentimes I could throw my zone forehand as far as I could some of my fairway drivers or distance drivers for that matter. So that's cool. And I happened to somehow get into a tournament this weekend. It's on Sunday. It's one of the NADGT's, National Amateur Disc Golf Tournament. It's a B tier.
Where at?
It's in Orville, California. And
cool.
So it was full, I guess, but a couple people dropped and maybe nobody noticed, because all of a sudden I'm scrolling, because I had looked last week and there was nothing. And then all of a sudden there's 3 spots open. So me and Jamie just signed up real quick. She'll be playing advanced women just because there's no other women in there. But anyways, I'm looking forward to crushing it. I want to shoot my first 1,000. I think it's on a ball golf course, and I think that's where I excel, is distance for amateurs. So hopefully it gives me a chance to shoot 1,000. What about you?
Yeah,
anything new?
I also signed up.
I seen. Okay, go ahead. Finish.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I seen on Facebook page today that you lost one of your new Katrina Allen discs.
I know. I was playing yesterday, and I went in my bag
out there?
Yeah, you throw multiples. You're playing with Bear Creek has been so crowded in the past week. Every time I go there, there's a wait, and so we're throwing multiples, and I just left it out there somewhere. No name, no number, because I'm an idiot. I have another one upstairs, but I was hoping to keep one fresh. So maybe I'll wait until they release the stock run of the Vortex. It's my best roller ever, Jed. On one at Bear Creek, I threw a roller all the way to the green on one. The way to the green.
A 470 foot shot at least.
Yes, it was huge. Everyone was like, wow. I was like, that's never happened.
You're like,
before,
me too. Wow.
Yeah, me too. Wow.
Like, I didn't know I was going to do that.
Having some fun. I'm trying to think what other disc. I've been having a lot of fun with the Rift. I aced. I think did I mention that last time?
Yeah, you said it was a second throw.
Yeah, it was a second throw ace, which was fun, with someone I was playing with, Emily Flash and
she's cool.
Flash. Yeah. So that was cool. The Rift is really fun. It's like a straight buzz right out of the bag, and I've got 4 of them. So I think a buzz when it's fresh
has dependable fade to it.
Yeah, it has dependable fade, where there's a couple times I throw the Rift hard and it just goes like too straight. but with no turnover issues. That is a fun disc to throw. And what else have I been loving lately? Oh, I've got this a Hurricane from 2011. That's a first run Hurricane. That's so flippy.
Is it still your roller? Yeah.
It can roll.
Oh, that was your force that used to be a roller.
It's like those forces where it's so understable and beat now. When you throw it on a roller, it rolls forever. But I've also just been throwing it on distance, hyzer flip to full turn with minimal fade at the end, like hole 8 at BC.
That's what I've been trying to get out of my Echo Star Destroyer, but I always turn it into a throller every time. I don't really have a flippy distance driver that I can
more air. You just got to put more air on it,
I've been trying, dude. It never works. I tried at Selmac both rounds on those open holes, and I turned them into throwlers.
Yeah,
still took.
Oh, and then I'm so I signed up for the NADGT at Tom Pierce, and at Tom Pierce it looks like they just put in a couple new T pads.
I've seen that on
hole 4 has hole 4 and hole 3. Okay. Or no, sorry, 2. Is it 2, 3, and 4? At least 2 of those early holes now have new T pads, and I think if there's any course around here that I can shoot 1,000 rated, it's TP. There's a lot of tough holes there, but if you can get through those first 7 holes,
6 down.
Yeah, you got to shoot like a 6 or 7 down to shoot 1,000. But I think the first 7 holes are all birdieable. If I can putt as consistently as I did the first round at Selmac, I think I'll be okay. Yeah, but I'm been really excited. Practice putting in the back. The practice putting in the backyard has been good. I don't practice a ton. Like some people go out, do 300, 400 putts. My form like devolves as I practice more. So I'll just usually each day I'll do like 20 to 40 putts.
Totally.
And as long as they're on, I made a sweet putt yesterday playing with a group of guys from probably 75 feet. And my weakness is jump putts. Like this
dude's jump putt is beyond below average for an AM1 player.
It is bad. But something
I've actually seen him throw the disc backwards, attempting a.
That was not a jump putt. It was an approach. It was a long approach
jump putt, but it's still a jump putt because that's what you attempted. I'm jump putting from 100 feet, but it's still an approach.
Okay, well, yes, I did throw a disc backward once, almost sideways. But this
into the water too? Was it into the water?
No, that was. Remember, it was whole like 10 at BC. Or no, whole like 8 or 9 at BC. 9.
Okay.
Okay. But or at Tom Pierce, I threw it backwards. But it was whole. But I had a sweet like 75-foot jump putt that as soon as it came out of my hand, I just said, that's in. And, I'm playing with like 4 or 5 dudes and it just smashed chains. And I was like, yeah. Nice. So, some things are going good. Like I said, the new grip with the putter, just kind of moving my thumb towards the outside of the disc a little bit helps it just kind of come out a little cleaner. So it doesn't get like caught on my hand. And so all my shorter putts have been feeling easier, but we all know what happens come tournament day. All those putts and discs start feeling foreign in your hand. But
man, speaking of, we'll just brush over Evelina real quick. Ooh, it was bad. It was almost hard to watch.
I don't want to shame her,
bash her,
because she's better than us.
We've all been
there. But man, to see someone like lay up from 20 feet and then to like barely make like an 8-foot putt on a ugly hyzer, that was next level. Yeah, dude, I hope she can come back.
I just want to know what her real, or like what her confident or her good putt looks like. I guess I haven't watched her enough because it's like the one time where I could say, there's amateurs that are better at putting than she is. Like, I don't like saying amateurs are better than women. I hate when people think that they can beat the women because they can't.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is I've never shot a 1,000 rated round, and I'm sure she has at minimum 10 in her bag or something like that.
Yeah. Dude, she shot 1,000 rated round without making a circle 1 putt.
Yeah, the putting was just
that first round. She shot 1,000 without making a circle 1 putt.
Yeah,
no, she's gonna find that putt again, and she's gonna be just fine. I just think she's just going through a little nerves, but she's gonna be all right. Evelina is a boss.
Totally. So I think that's
anything else, Jed? Is that wrapping it up for us? No, just go check out our sponsors, man. Till Death Disc Golf, Dark Ace Apparel, and Prize Picks. You can use the promo code HTL on Prize Picks and Dark Ace, and promo code HTL Pod on Till Death Disc Club for some discounts there. Get some fly gear. How about you,
sir?
Last comments.
Not a bad. Yeah, I was just gonna say, not a bad pod for waking up this morning and going, shit, we ought to do a pod. It looks like lines came out. So
yeah, and luckily I had tonight off from
forward to
playing Dungeons and Dragons with the homies, so I was available. Otherwise, I might not have been available. So this is good. Well, good luck to all of our players out there. If you really wait for great conditions to pick some unders. I'd say wait till the second round tomorrow, or the first round could be a little.
But
crazy,
the unders are out there.
The unders are out there. All right, y'all.
All right.
We will see you guys next week. Peace. Brown chicken.